All right. Hi, Pranav.
Hi, sir.
So we have Pranav on board with us, who secured All India rank 93 in Clat this year. Just for your information, Pranav also appeared for Clat last year when he was 11th. और 11th में रह करके जब उन्होंने क्लैट दिया था लास्ट ईयर तो he secured 525 all India rank 525. So but with his consistent efforts and preparation this year, taking inspiration from his maternal grandfather, उनके नाना जी से जो भी LLB बैकग्राउंड से हैं, उनसे इंस्पिरेशन लेकर के प्रणव ने क्लैट की तैयारी की थी इस साल. और being an online student of ClatPrep, he made us proud by securing All India rank 93 this year. So Pranav, what was the feeling when you saw your rank first time?
Sir, I finally felt that all the years of hard work, all the preparation had finally borne fruit, and I was also really thankful to everyone, to even to God. Um, Basically, CLAT is both preparation as well as luck as well. So, luck, and then the people who really support you, your parents, your mentors. So, I was really thankful that I was able to get a decent rank in CLAT.
Chalo, great. So you are the one from whom I actually, heard it. Ki it depends on luck as well.
Yeah.
Could you please throw some light on it? Why do you feel that luck actually plays a role in this?
So basically, I feel most of it is hard work, it's preparation. 80% is
Hmm.
hard work, and then 20% is luck as well. Because even in the answer key, in the CLAT 2024 answer key, there were some questions which were a little doubtful. There were some GK questions which were a little dicey again. And many people who I know who were doing very well in the mocks couldn't really do that well in on the final day, not really because they weren't able to perform, but also because it just wasn't their day, or they just missed it by 1 or 2 marks. And 1 or 2 marks make all the difference in a competitive exam like that. So it's
Right.
basically both.
So
Yeah.
I would like to clarify the students who are watching this video, जो देखेंगे इनसे इंस्पिरेशन लेंगे. लक सिर्फ और सिर्फ वहां मैटर करता है जहां पर आप एक दो मार्क्स की वजह से पिछड़ जाते हो. ये नहीं है कि बिना हार्डवर्क कर रही आप सिक्योर कर लोगे कोई भी रैंक. दिस इज नॉट व्हाट प्रणव वाज ट्राइंग टू से. इसलिए मैंने
And
क्लैरिफिकेशन मांगा.
yeah,
हाँ.
and luck goes both ways, right? You could get 1 or 2 extra marks, 1 or 2 less marks. It's based what is in your hands is your preparation and hard work. Luck plays that final deciding 1 or 2 marks.
राइट.
Yeah.
परफेक्ट. परफेक्टली सेड. ओके प्रणव, क्लैट में जब आपने मेरे ख्याल से पिछले साल भी क्लैट का एग्जाम दिया था, यू मस्ट हैव गॉन थ्रू द प्रीवियस ईयर्स पेपर्स एज वेल, यू मस्ट हैव गॉन थ्रू द मॉक्स. लेकिन एक्चुअल क्लैट 2024 पेपर की बात करें तो जीके रियली टर्न्ड अप समथिंग अनएक्सपेक्टेड. देयर वर फ्यू
Right.
क्वेश्चन जिसके आंसर्स अगर आप पैसेजेस ढंग से पढ़ोगे तो उसी में मिल जाएगा, जो बिल्कुल ही एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं है जीके से. एंड देयर वर क्वेश्चंस व्हिच वाज ऑन द लाइंस ऑफ हिस्ट्री. अगर मैं जनरल डायर वाले पैसेज की बात करूं तो हाउ डिड यू स्ट्रेटेजाइज एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम? क्योंकि जीके जो डिफरेंशिएट कर सकता था बाकी स्टूडेंट्स के साथ, बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द आंसर्स वर ऑलरेडी गिवन इन द पैसेज दिस टाइम, तो वो
Right.
डिफरेंस कहीं ना कहीं हट गया था. सो हाउ डिड यू स्ट्रेटेजाइज ऑन दैट पार्ट?
So my basically I attempted GK as the first section. So when I went to GK and I saw the kind of questions that were asked, I thought that there might be some clue with respect to the answers in the passage. So I glossed through the passage. I just skimmed through it, and I saw that there was some help that I could take in answering the questions by reading the passage. So that was one. Then secondly, I also identified that GK couldn't be the tiebreaker this time, right? GK would be something where everyone would be able to score. So I knew the importance of other sections, maths and the reading sections, the the importance they would play in deciding what college you would get ultimately. So basically, I understood that GK is more of a prerequisite, not the deciding factor this time. And I also became a little more aware and cautious with respect to marking answers in other sections.
Chalo, great to know that. So that is something which you were able to capitalize at that point of time, wherein you said that maths would play a role. So कितने अटेम्प्ट से मैथ्स में, क्या स्कोर था मैथ्स में?
Maths mein I got full marks. I guess there were 10 or 12 questions, so I got full marks.
तो वैसे you used to score full in maths in your mocks as well?
No, not always. Like I have scored even a 7, 8, or even a 3, 4 sometimes out of 12 in maths. So it wasn't always like 100% accuracy, but I was decent at maths.
So when did you realize that marking या score in maths will actually play a role in that?
So I always knew that those 10, 12 marks in maths will be very important for me in getting the college that I want to get into. So, because in the reading sections, there might be a difference of opinion between you and the examiner. It might be that two options are very close and they are framed in such a way that it is very difficult to identify which one is the right one. But in maths, if you know the concept, if you are able to solve the questions in the given amount of time, then you will be able to score a very high number of marks. And also in CLAT, I've seen this trend with most people that they tend to ignore maths. So if you are focusing really, if you are putting a lot of time on maths and improving it, and really, and you are really able to score a good 8 or 9 marks out of 12,
Mhm.
then that will definitely give you the edge and help you get a competitive edge.
Oh, great. Pranav, you appeared for boards. You are appearing for boards as well this year.
Right.
And there are students like you who would be writing the CLAT exam next year, who would be writing boards as well in the same year. And कई बार students को actually ये strategy develop करने में मुश्किल होती है कि how to maintain a balance between the boards preparation and the CLAT preparation. So how did you manage by securing All India rank 93 in CLAT at the same time preparing for your boards? क्या किया आपने बताइए?
Right. So I basically there are two things that I would suggest to everyone. First is define your priorities, right? You need to know that CLAT is something which will get you a good law school, which will then help you build your career in the next 5 years. And boards will get you a percentage that will just be there on your CV, and boards is something where you just need to perform decent. So my priority was always CLAT, and therefore I gave 80 to 90% of my time to CLAT always. And I also knew that I would have 2.5 months after CLAT for boards, so I would be able to capitalize on them to score well in boards as well. Then, secondly, I would also suggest that when there is some project submission or some exam, one day before it or 2 days before it, when you really need to give some time to school, you focus on some essentials of your CLAT prep. So, what are those essentials will be determined by you yourself. For me, they were taking mocks, analyzing them, and a daily newspaper, and I knew that most of my progress was happening through that. So, you identify one or two things that you don't have to give up on any particular day, even when you are focusing on school exams or pre boards or anything like that. So that is how I manage both school and class.
Truly inspirational, and the students will definitely learn a lot from this who will be writing their boards exam along with CLAT. Now let's talk about in general. ये मतलब अगर कोई बाई चांस ड्रॉप भी कर रहा हो या फिर इनफैक्ट 12th का भी स्टूडेंट है, सो हाउ मेनी आवर्स टू ईच सेक्शन आपने किस तरीके से डिफाइन किया कि कितने इतना टाइम मुझे इस सेक्शन को देना है, तो डेली बेसिस पर आप कैसे पढ़ते थे?
So I never studied all 5 sections on the same day. I basically tried to do 2 sections every day, and then I used to regularly give mocks. And with respect to the number of hours, I wouldn't put a number on it because it might vary for different people. But I would say that when you attempt mocks, when you solve questions, identify what learnings you took, what concepts you don't know, what questions you are lacking in, and then practice and work upon it. So in each section you can identify those things by attempting mocks, and then just go and work upon it, and that will take up a lot of time and fetch you those extra marks that will help you improve.
So talking about the mocks, what was your order of attempt in the mocks which we usually kept? Did you go by the same order of attempt in the actual CLAT examination also? या आपने कुछ changes की थी? Let us know.
So with respect to the order of mocks, I'll suggest that you do a lot of hit and trial. You try different patterns and then come to the right one. For me, it was a little controversial that even my mentors and my friends had warned me about. So mine was first was GK, then I used to do um, then I used to do legal, then logic, then English, then QT. So this is controversial because GK जब आप पहले करते हो तो you might lose confidence क्योंकि कुछ आ ही नहीं रहा या फिर you might get overconfident. So it is a little controversial and a little risky. And then QT end में करना भी थोड़ा सा risky है because you might lose on some marks that you could have easily got. But I came upon it after a lot of hit and try, and I knew that this was something that will get me a wonderful score in CLAT, and therefore I stick to it on the final day as well. Even when I saw that the paper was not what I expected, even then I stick to it, and it really helps. So I just suggest that you go for hit and trial for and practice different patterns in different mocks, and then in the last 3 4 months or so, you can stick to one pattern of attempting mocks, and then go all in with it, and use the same pattern even in that.
Right. So a very fruitful insight given by Pranav. There is no perfect order. The perfect order is something which works for you and it depends on the individual. So Pranav ने बहुत सारे hit and trial लिए हैं उसके बाद जाकर के उनको लगा for some people all the three sections of reading exhaustive sections की अगर मैं बात करूं the legal English it might not work. से समझो आपके लिए क्या best work करेगा accordingly फिर आप उसको implement कीजिए. Okay. Pranav, what was your strongest section?
So my strongest section was legal reasoning, and this was basically because I loved reading about different laws. It really fascinated me, and क्योंकि मैंने इतना ज़्यादा current affairs, current legal knowledge, and इतना सारा I was aware about different things that was going on in news, so I really felt comfortable with it.
So how did you capitalize on your strongest section that is legal?
Right. So legal reasoning, as we all know, carries the most number of marks in the CLAT exam. So the fact that I was really good with it and that I could solve more number of questions as compared to some other aspirant gave me an edge. To master legal reasoning, I would suggest you first go through the basic laws. Don't try to memorize them. Just basically go through them, read through them, and understand them. And then I would suggest that you also keep a check upon the judgments being passed by the Supreme Court. You just Google them. You keep a check upon various laws being passed by the Parliament. So I remember even in CLAT 2024 paper, there was this passage on registration of books and periodicals act. So these things really help you in even solving those passages which aren't expected in CLAT.
Right. And what was your weakest section?
So my weakest section was GK, and I used to score decent in GK, but my percentile was really bad in that. So I was below. I was behind many people in the rankings. So that was my weakest.
How did you overcome it?
So I basically identified a few issues I had with general knowledge. First was the retention issues. So उसमें बड़ा मजा आता है कि you go on googling different topics, you go on reading about them, but retention was a big issue for me, and revision is the key for that. So I would suggest that you just go on revising topics. You just focus on a less number of topics, and you find out more details about them, and then try to remember them as much as possible. Practice active recall. So those things really help you get some facts and some key details into your head.
Great. I still remember, Pranav, when you used to give the mocks and you had some doubts in the critical reasoning section. Then we had discussed the doubts as well over phone. आपने काफी questions भी पूछे थे. तो critical reasoning section एक ऐसा section है जिसमें बहुत सारे fundamentals काम आते नहीं है. It depends on practice. How would you suggest the students to prepare for critical reasoning sections?
So critical reasoning may I'd suggest that first you understand the different types of questions. Means you have a basic idea of what you need to do in a weakened question, in a strengthened question, in an intense question, and so on. And then you can try to practice various paragraph-based questions. So you can go to GMAT Club. You can even refer to the workbooks that you receive and just find out those paragraphs which have the that one type of question stem and just go on practicing them again and again and you will find out a set of learnings so that will help you even with the passage based questions in logical reasoning. So that really helps, and logical reasoning is all about practice. You just need to have a basic idea of the concepts and then you need to practice as much as possible to get the nuance. So that's what I do.
Great. Uh, how did you use to analyze your mocks?
I basically spent a lot of time on analysis of my mocks. Firstly, I had an Excel sheet where I used to write down the percentiles, the respective sectional scores, and then I used to analyze them periodically. Then, secondly, I only went through the wrong questions that I got. I didn't go through the right ones. And in the wrong questions, I used to write down what I thought during the exam and what actually was the right reasoning that should have been applied. And then I also used to go through that once or twice in a week or two. So that really helped me in not repeating the mistakes that I made in a particular moment.
Chalo, great. So Pranav, what message would you like to give to the students who would be writing CLAT next year?
So for all the students, I would suggest that you work very hard on your reading skills, develop a basic comprehension ability because that will help you in all the three sections, all the three reading sections. Then with GK, revise as much as possible. Less is more वाली philosophy को follow करो. And in QT, you should practice as much as possible. Just get your concepts right and then practice as much as possible, and you will be able to crack that with a wonderful score.
Well, I believe that the insights given by Pranav would be definitely very, very fruitful, and all the students would be taking a great inspiration from you. And I definitely believe that whatever he has suggested, all the students will follow it so that they are able to score good ranks in CLAT. Thank you so much, Pranav, on being on board with us. I wish you all the best for all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, sir.